the Europeans. She snatched 100 kilos there in a 3-for-3 series.
It's an easy opener.
Very workmanlike.
So with this, we'll probably see, I think, a 2-minute clock and a repeat. She's going to have to go. Well, somebody made a change. I'm sorry.
Yeah, very, very solid there. And getting those jitters out by nailing down that first lift, and that's very important.
So as soon as a change goes in here, we will call probably Christina Magot of Hungary for her first attempt, 100 kilos. Alexandra moved up to 102. And you like seeing that because what that means is we are not starting this competition off with a couple of 2-minute clocks.
Right.
And if you get a couple of makes to start things off, the flow can begin. And this is something, Sean, that we've talked about a few times.
Yeah.
You want the lifters ahead of you at the beginning of the string to make lifts.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday with the men's 105, I mean, they didn't really start get going until the second attempts of the clean and jerk.
Right.
You know, before that, it was just a sludge.
It didn't have a feel.
No, but then as soon as they started making lifts, the energy changed in the room.
Absolutely. So now here is Christina Magot of Hungary. First attempt, 100 kilos.
That's all right. Like to see a little bit more speed off the hips, though. Just gets a little muddled there. Kind of all one speed. Sean and I were talking about this just the other day about that change in speed you want to see at the hips. So it hesitates just a little bit there.
And you can get away with it with certain weights, and then at some point you can't get away with it.
Right.
So
again, maybe chalking that up to getting out here in this different atmosphere, in these lights, in front of these cameras, in front of this audience, and getting that first one in. Sometimes it's not as aggressive as you'd like to see.
Right. You hold it back a little bit, try to counteract the nerves. There could be a million things going on in your head.
All right. So now it looks like 102 kilos for the second attempt of Aleksandra Mieczewska of Poland.
I don't know if the Backstreet Boys is something that's going to fire me up, but this is the Backstreet Boys, right?
I'm glad I don't know.
I think so. I think so.
I'm old. I don't follow these things.
All right, looks like Alexandra's 2 for 2.
It's pretty solid as well.
Yeah.
Perhaps a little more jumping back on that than the first attempt. You can never really tell until after the replay on that angle.
Can't
A little
really
hard to
tell.
say, but
Solid.
well within her capabilities for sure.
All right, so now we seem to have a little go back and forth between these first two lifters.
All right.
103 kilos is now going to be called for the second attempt of Christina Magot of Hungary. Opened with 100 kilos, made it.
The fighting is starting early. It's good.
Easy. Fight.
Oh.
Just a bit in front. And Sean, something I noticed here, if you looked at Magot when they when she started the lift, you can see her shins were scraped. Did you notice on the lifter before, in her socks when she started the bar off the ground, the streak of chalk that went up her leg? That's kind of why you sometimes want to wear higher socks, or maybe even now that you can wear the unitard. It actually protects your leg if you ride it up along it. Did you guys have that problem? Did you?
I'd get a little bump every now and again, but I was pretty okay with my shins not getting too scraped.
Weren't a bleeder? You held your butt?
Well, I wasn't a bleeder. I had more trouble with the other stuff, the callus tearing and that sort of thing. But my shins were okay. Now I'm not saying I don't have 2 little scars there after years and years of doing it, but yeah, some lifters are definitely, because of their technique, a little more susceptible to that sort of thing.
Usually an indicator of leaning back at the start, and sometimes when you have that, I mean, it's so hard to get that healed up because you're training every day.
I mean, excuse me, I had staph infection twice in my
wow. Okay.
From it. So
yeah, I've seen lifters with that as well. You got to be careful with that. I mean, a lot of different hands on this bar, or barbells in the gym in general. So important lesson here, kids.
yes, very important.
Wear high socks.
And I also taught myself not to go back so far off the floor.
All right, so now we are back to our third attempt. 104 kilos, Aleksandra Mierczewska of Poland.
Ustaw się, dokładnie. Klata i w górę. Dawaj zdecydowanie. Bardzo ważne. Łapiesz i ciągniesz ją mocno w górę. Cały gaz. Dawaj, porządnie.
Oh, goodness.
Boy, I tell you, I don't know how she missed that.
You know what? That looked okay to me too, Sean. Let's take a look at the replay. We're at a great angle here at the commentator's booth off to the side, but I still got to see this one again. I think maybe that little jump back might have caught up to her.
Bar was in the right spot, but she wasn't.
Exactly.
But still a PR for her at best. Her previous best was 101, I believe.
Yes.
So
that's not bad.
That's not a bad day.
Satisfied with that, right?
PR at the World Championships is a pretty good day.
Yeah, it is. Every time.
All right, so now we are going to stay with 104 kilos. This time it is Kristina Mogat of Hungary. This is her third attempt. Missed 103 on her second attempt, moved up a kilo.
Couldn't quite hang on.
Not an explosive second pull, kind of more of a push.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to see like more of a punch than a push.
I agree. Maybe from the knee when she's coming back into the power position, just lags a little bit.
Yes, I agree.
And never really gets that pop I would like to hear.
Sometimes, you know, if the lifter lacks posterior chain strength, you know, hamstring and glute strength, they can't really bring those hips explosively to the bar.
Right.
Well, if you want to see explosive movement with that punch out,
see it right now.
You will see it right now with Lizeth.
I saw her lift at Pan Am's. She was fun to watch.
3 for 3 series there. She opened with 103 at the Pan Am's in July in Miami. Finished with 112, made that. Here she is opening with 107 at the World Championships.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's speed.
That's a good lift there for Iovi, and I hope we see 4 or 5 kilo type jumps from her, because if we do, she could be a factor in this thing for a medal. I mean, just look at that.
That's an incredible opening attempt.
Yep.
You know, I can never wear my belt snatching because the bar would actually get caught on the belt. So it's always interesting to me.
Was it the buckle or the belt, or just the belt in general?
The belt in general, because I kick like right around my belly button.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And by kick, I mean where the bar actually is making contact with my body.
Yeah, you had a relatively wide grip, so that means the connection point on your body.
And short arms, so.
And short arms, more importantly.
I made a comment about your jerk the other day when you had the bar overhead. I mean, your elbows are like lined up with your head.
They're like at eyeball level.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible.
It made it a heck of a lot easier, and I had a wide grip on the barbell in the dirt too.
Helps you cover less ground.
Yes.
It does.
All right, so right now we're running a 2-minute clock on Lizeth Iovi. She has elected 111. She would need to go to 113 to get another lifter on the platform.
She could.
She could, but it does look like for now that she's going to make a quick turn and come back out here and do this.
And that's fine. I mean, I don't think she's in the mix to win, but she certainly, there's a bunch of lifters in the same area, and she's one of those lifters, so every lift is going to count. You don't want to give something away.
Right.
20 years old.
Something to be said about just going ahead and doing your own thing and making your own lifts, and then letting everybody else try to make up the difference.
All right, so now here is Lizeth Iovi, 111 kilos. Her best is 112. So you got to figure if she makes this, she'll position herself nicely for a PR attempt. Should be good to go there with 111 kilos.
I'd like to see her get set a little bit better. I don't want to see her get in a situation where she's rushing and not taking her time from the floor, but she's still strong enough to make that work.
And by rushing, you're talking about when she drops her hips, she immediately goes. That is a style that some lifters use, but the reason why you don't like it is...
Well, the same dynamic sort of start I actually employed as well, but it's just really easy to kind of get excited, drop the hips, and right when you're going to lift the bar, the hips are actually a bit higher than they normally are.
So you can create variability and inconsistency.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, at Waxman's Gym with powerlifters, we teach a still start, and I don't, because to your point, you introduce variability to the start position. I don't want that. I want the lifter to set, stretch up with the legs, pause, and then go.
Yeah.
And do the same thing every time.
And that's ideal. I would never necessarily teach this sort of a style.
But people do.
Because
it's cool looking though.
It is. It's unpredictable though, or unpredictable.
You see like a guy like Ronnie Weller who would just, walk up to the bar, slam down his hips and go, or Wes Barnett in the clean and jerk.
Well, he was a dive star.
He would dive star. He'd walk up to the bar and just dive down and pick up the bar without any
That's
pause.
discombobulating for me, just visually, just watching.
I played around with it. You play around with it in training, and I don't know how you do it.
That would have been bad news for me. Grabbing the bar an inch the wrong way on one side versus the other, and it's a no lift for me. All
right, so while we were going through some of that technique stuff, it looks like a couple of changes went in, and it looks like the lifter the coaches from Ecuador didn't realize that another lifter dropped down to 113. Mascoro had
burning the clock on her.
And her clock got messed up, and it went back to her, but I don't think they gave her a new clock. So as of now, the clock has expired on the third attempt of Iovi. No lift has been called, and let's see what they decide to do. We do see an official coming back, so it looks like a change didn't go in, and it's a possibility that we'll revert back here. In the meantime, the next weight is going to be called. But based on the way that this conversation's going, I do think we might see a break for Lizeth Iovi. They may give her a break.
I hope so.
I hope so as well. You don't like to see these technical things. You want to see a lifter at least be able to grab hold of the barbell and see what happens.
And the other thing, if you're the lifter...
The number is right. They are saying that the clock should have reset for 1 minute.
They're claiming the clock didn't reset for 1 minute.
The time ran down, they're saying for Mexico, but not for the lifter that was
So it seems that the Ecuadorians are claiming that they put the change in.
No, the next lifter, I don't mean to correct you there, but I think I heard it a little differently. So another lifter was introduced at 113. A 1 minute clock started and ticked. it ticked down. And then that lifter moved to 115, and Lizeth Aovi was called. And what they're claiming is Lizeth did not get a new 1 minute clock.
Gotcha.
And if that's the case, she's got an argument here.
Right. If that is true, she needs a new clock.
But in the meantime, the lifter is sitting there waiting.
Just getting iced. So this, you know.
And this happens on occasion. I remember this happened at the World Championship with a Ukrainian lifter and myself in 2005. And these stops this competition, and we were going for medals at that point. You just got to sit and
all right,
focus.
so I think I saw the motion of no lift as he was stepping out. So the claim there of the clock not being reset was not a winning argument there from the Ecuadorian. So that means the clock expired on the third attempt of Lizeth Aovi at 1:13, and she is going to be recorded as having no lift, and that is just a shame that that happened.
You know, when they realized that, there was still about 38 seconds, I think about 38 seconds.
Yeah, but they just thought the clock was wrong. They didn't send her out. You got to send her out.
You got to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's either way, that's a mistake by the coaching staff.
Yeah.
All right, so now here's Chaidi Dangyaksan of Thailand, also a junior. This is her last competition as a junior. She's opening here with 115. Her best ever is 117. She did that in Tokyo last year at the Asian Championships. All right, no lift here at 115, and sometimes we talk about what lifters do in the back, all right? And coming out here, and you can turn it around and change things. And unfortunately here, she misses this 115 opener. She also tried it in the back and missed it. And prior warm-up at 110 before that.
That's pretty close, though. I think she can come back out and make that. It doesn't look too heavy.
Hopefully she does. Now in the meantime, here is Shema Haridi of Egypt. This is her first attempt.
صب حديد حبيبي يا رسول الله يا الله
Beautiful.
That's very nice.
That was great.
Very nicely done.
Cheryl, when you were competing at a competition of this stature, did it matter to you how your warm-ups went, or it didn't matter?
You know what? Not necessarily. I have missed last attempt warm-ups in the back room, and literally it doesn't matter until you're out here on this platform.
Okay.
So psychologically, you can allow it to happen, but I would shrug it off and say, let me at the platform.
Great.
Which is why you were one of the best in the world. All right, so now here is Mascoro of Mexico. This is her first attempt.
Wow, a little head throw there.
Yeah, she gets a big extension. Her face ends up facing the ceiling, really.
115 kilos. Floaters, 115
And we were talking before, some lifters do that, although we prefer, or I prefer, a little bit more vertical than
I'm with you.
than backward.
You know,
Like she's fast enough.
And you get it all. And Sean, you mentioned, I forget which session, the changes in different body types and looks and feels amongst. But we have people who throw their head back. You have people who land right in place. You have people who lean their head forward. I mean, you know what you prefer to teach, but at the end of the day, right, like if it works for that athlete,
Right.
may not be what you would teach, but that was a nice effort there and a very strong opener for Mascoro.
And you only want to spend so much time trying to change that with an athlete. You know, you give it a go and they still do it, then maybe it's something you're left with.
All right, so now we are back to Chaidi Dangyaksan.
She's in a little bit of a hole here, especially from how things have gone in the back.
Mr. Opener with 115. Here she is, second attempt, same weight. There we go.
Beautiful
Got it.
composure.
She almost overextended
Yeah.
again, but she did exactly what she needed to do, lock down, hold that bottom position until she restabilizes, and then standing up with the bar.
That's a great comeback off of this, and we did get word that her series was a struggle in the back, but this is just a professional effort right there.
To be followed by Mascoro, Mexico, at the same weight.
Interesting focal point. You know, generally, a lifter's going to stare.
Yeah, she was looking down.
At least eye level, but she was looking down. You don't see that very often.
This is the first time we're seeing Paul Saba School.
Oh, a little bit of a jump back.
Yeah.
And this is a very light opener for her. She is one of the toughest supers in the world.
Now, the second attempt.
Didn't look like she extended well. Maybe there's something bugging her. She had a little grimace on her face.
I mean, this is a lifter who's opened on multiple occasions with weights like north of 125.
Maybe something up with her.
Number 8, 117.
Yeah, sometimes even if you're injured, not in prime shape, it's still worth it for you and your country to attend an event like this, because maybe that still makes you the top super and still in contention for a medal.
Which she is.
Not at
Which she absolutely is.
Exactly, even though she's not at her best, but hopefully she can secure that second attempt.
And, you know, we look at these stats and we look at the expectations and we know what some of these lifters are capable of, and we always want them to do more, but that's just not reality. I mean, you know, it's not a straight line up.
I mean, case in point, the Rostimi from the Islamic Republic of Iran, not in the best shape, but he showed up and
Almost won.
And almost won.
All right, so now we are back to Chitanook Pool Saba School of Thailand.
Something's up with her.
Yeah, she looks like she's in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
No lid. 116 kilos. She still has a third attempt.
Now, does she risk injury, dig deep, make it happen, and you know, survive for the clean and jerks, or does she withdraw? It really just depends on what we're talking about.
Well, she is on a 2-minute clock to have to make that decision, and we've seen a lot of gambling. We've seen a lot of moving up off of misses, and Sean, I don't think that we've seen anything from the first 2 attempts here that would indicate the move up would be a good idea.
Well, I mean,
but I think I just heard 117. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said it would be a good idea if they can give her more recovery or do something to treat what's going on. It depends. I mean, supers, being a super, rest. It's not like the other weight classes. Even the snatches can be a little fatiguing, a little bit. So,
and you can eat 1 kilo for breakfast.
Yeah.
As a super.
Yeah, I've had some snatches make me tired. So,
all right, so
let's there.
Briefly introduced, she has since moved up to 118, so now it's going to go to Mascoro. I don't think Mascoro will be staying here. That's a 2 kilo increment from her first attempt, so there's the change going in there by the Mexican coach. And that's going to call back Pool Saba School. So, I mean, really, at the end of the day, those quick little changes, she could have just used her 2-minute clock.
Right.
And that's where, you know, that's what happens sometimes. But now, off of 2 misses, that didn't look great. She's got another kilo on the bar, and she's following herself anyway. So hopefully she can pull this off.
No, that hurts too much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, hopefully it's something that that is not a mystery and that she can get treated, a little bit of rest. At the end of these training cycles, these lifters have done these weights or similar weights repeatedly with heavy pulling, with heavy squatting, and sometimes you just get broken down a little bit too soon before you're able to actually be on the stage. So you don't like to see it, but it happens.
So that's a benefit, obviously, to the rest of the field, because you have to think that Pool Saba School was an absolute contender I just think she had one of the heaviest slated clean and jerks, and now she's out of this competition. And Sarah Robles, who is probably not unaware of what just happened, knows that if she puts this away, she's going to be on the medal stand, I think.
Action. Let's go.
Let's
Roll
hope.
the wrist. Let's
Trying to
go.
lock this opener in.
Speed.
And that's exactly how it's done. That's a relief. I think she's letting them know that there's blood on the bar, which needs to be cleaned for the safety of the athletes, but that's a very nice lift.
118 kilo start.
Mexico, this is her second attempt.
She hasn't opened this heavy since the Olympics, where she went 6 for 6
Oh, okay.
and turned in a special performance. So the progress of Sarah, what she has done since the Olympics and winning that medal, I think has been terrific. When we see her back, we can get into a little bit about what she did post-Olympics, took some time, got right back into competition and built. And it looks like she has done a series of meets to get her to peak for today. Because if she's opening with 118, you've got to believe that she's ready to play big. All right, so now Mascoro is the lifter. This is her second attempt, 4 kilo jump, and will move her ahead of Sarah Robles.
That takes a tremendous amount of strength, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it does. And that's my biggest fear with the head getting thrown back, is that you get that little bit of swing sometimes on the bar.
Right, and the bar ends up moving laterally behind you instead of straight up and straight back down on top. And those elbows can only handle so much. And and grabbing hold of that bar and having to pull it back forward is difficult. She did it.
Hubbard next.
All right, so here is Chaidi of Thailand. She made 115 on her second attempt. If successful here, this will move her into second behind Mascoro, but position her very nicely for the clean and jerk competition.
Oh, not quite. I think just a better extension on that second pull, keeping the bar a little bit closer. She could have had that, but a no lift there.
So she will finish the day 1 for 3, 115 kilos from her second attempt, and you have to think that 4 kilo swing might come back to bite later. That was a crucial lift, I think, in this meet. So right now, 120 kilos is going to be loaded, and Laurel Hubbard will be the lifter. First attempt.
Hubbard, New Zealand.
Now, Sarah is a tall athlete. Hubbard seems to be quite tall as well. Not always the easiest to be the taller competitor, even amongst the super heavyweights.
The taller you are, the further the bar's got to move.
Yep.
So
You can probably see a collar-to-collar grip here.
It's pretty easy. Never seen Laurel lift, but that's a solid snatch.
120 kilos, good lift. And that will move her for now into the lead.
I think she's being a little conservative, sitting down here. She seems to have the bar, but just wants to be doubly sure on that balance before she stands up.
And this is within her, I think, at the Commonwealth Championships, I think 130 was what she did. So That could be a path we see her tracking toward. In the meantime, we are back toward Hariri. Made her opener with 115. So we'll move her into second.
بطل 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 بطل. عاش.
Surprised she missed that.
Yeah, the first lift was really, really strong. Maybe a little bit of extra weight time there. We did have a lot of attempts between her first and her second attempt. But important lifts all coming up. These snatches are going to determine who's on the medal podium.
We have 4 lifters with attempts remaining right now. 120 kilos. Laurel Hubbard is the lead. 120, if it stays on, will not move ahead of that. Any lifter who wants to color up, so to speak, or even get on the platform must do more than 121.
And sometimes we think about medal contention as people coming out of nowhere and lifting huge, huge weights. Sometimes to get the medal, you end up doing a little bit less than you were going to in the competition.
Yeah, very often, you mentioned earlier, you keep your head down and just make lifts, and you look up and there you are in the lead.
Right.
Well, Hariri is going to have to do it on a short clock. Another lifter was introduced. She's following herself, so it is just a 1-minute clock here.
انت عايز بقى عندي ثقة في نفسي. اطلع لفوق اطلع لفوق. اهي.
Oh, goodness. Just a little falter with the left elbow.
Yeah.
And I think even from here, I can see blood on the bar. They're going to have to clean that up. Just not noticing it. When the loaders go toward the bar, the lights are off, so it's kind of hard for them to notice. It looks like Robles is making a change here.
Number 2, 122.
So she's moved up to 122, it looks like. That'll put Mascoro on the bar. That would be a 2-kilo jump, right? Yeah, there's the change. I was just about to say it. I don't think she'll do that.
Number 8, 122.
Loader is 122 kilos.
So now it goes back to Sarah Robles.
Mascoro is requesting more. That means Sarah Robles, 122 kilos.
And Sean, if you were wondering,
Mascoro next.
it was 120, right, that she did in Rio on her second. 122, this is the exact string she took. This is 22.
This is a good call. As for the strategy of what is happening here, she does not need to do more than that for this purpose.
Speed past the
And this
knees.
will
Let's
move
go.
her into the lead.
Then it'll force Mascaro, if she wants to beat her, to take 123.
That's right.
Push hard, Sarah. Speed past the knee. Let's go.
And that's a darn near power snatch.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lighter lift than her opener with
Ready
118.
to lift weights. That's excellent. Very nicely done. Almost threw it out of her own hands.
Yeah.
It was so powerful.
Loaders 122, please.
Yeah, I agree.
Third and final attempt.
Yeah, she just, and I've had snatches like that where you go, oh, wait, there it is. And that's what she does. She's ready to compete today, and that's really, really excellent to see.
Well, the way, you know, you can all speak to this, as we've all been there before. The speed out on that platform is so different than anything else, and you almost, it's difficult sometimes to stay connected to the bar,
Right,
without just dropping, you know, because everything is moving so fast.
Right, and it's chemical too. You're full of adrenaline.
Mascoro, Mexico.
All right.
And yeah, and these weights feel different. The electricity in the air is incredible.
All right, so now we're back to Mascoro, 123 kilos. As you mentioned, Sean, this will move her into the lead.
And force Sarah to take 124 if...
Probably Hubbard. Yes, which Hubbard has.
Oh, I just looked a bit too heavy for her. And again, leaning back and disengaging with the barbell, she loses all of her power when those shoulders get behind the bar like that, and there's not really anything you can do with it.
So now Sarah could come out with this and play for silver, or 124 forces Hubbard to go to 125.
Which is what Sarah's going to do. She's going to go to that 24. And by the way, Mascoro, with that third attempt miss, will be credited with 119, which will guarantee her a bronze in the snatch. And now to your, the game play, pretty standard here. 124 kilos moves into the lead. Hubbard on her second attempt. Obviously, this is what she will take, and she's going to try to do just that. We'll see how Sarah reacts based on the outcome. Look for Robles to burn Hubbard's clock if she misses.
Yep.
Almost loses it forward.
Yeah.
She's very happy that she didn't. Again, you see that confidence in the bottom position. She's very, very patient. It's really easy to want to stand up with that as fast as you can, but it's not always the wisest decision. So she clamps down. A little bit of scrape on that shin.
You can see the blood.
On the bar. But she's able to control that and stand straight up.
And you got to think that that looked pretty close to a max effort. So what's the gameplay here for Sarah Robles? Does she go 25?
I think you got to go 24.
And she is. There you go.
Right.
And what you're doing is, if you make this, you're forcing Hubbard to make a decision for silver or for 126. And I got to say, I think at 126, here's the gold medal lift, I think is my...
Right. I think you're right about that. I think that's a good assessment. And also, remember, to be the world champion, you need the total medal. So she's adding kilos to her clean and jerk, what she'll have to do less later.
Right, and Sarah is solid in the clean and jerk. She's amongst the top of this group. So, you play the game because you're in it, but ultimately you're playing for the total. And when I say you're in it, you're in the snatch competition now. You are going to play this game out a little bit, and you are within Sarah's abilities. She's done 126.
Yes.
And Shahima's really not in contention for the gold in the winning the total because her snatch.
That miss really hurt.
Yeah, she's really so far behind in the snatch.
She's going to. So this could potentially be a gold medal lift right now for Sarah Robles. If she puts this away, the outcome won't be in her hands, but she could be a gold medalist at the World Championships if successful right here.
Finish this thing. Finish it. Come on.
That's
126 was good for third in Rio. She doesn't know the down signal came. There it is. It was good for third in Rio. It is good for now, first place.
Yes,
at least silver.
You shut out everything that's happening, and she's so obsessed with hanging on to the bar steadily that she doesn't even hear the buzzer.
It's a great example of focus.
Yes.
It's really...
She's in the zone right here. She's like, I'm not putting this down until everybody says it's okay.
It was almost a surprise.
Hubbard.
All right, so now we are down to our final lift of the session. Laurel Hubbard, 127 kilos. Made her opener with 20, made her second with 24. Guaranteed silver for Hubbard. This is a gold medal attempt, but as we said, that 24 looked like it was close to a max effort.
She's got to be aggressive and also focus in on that technique. Whoa. Whoa, almost. There you have it. That was a nice fight. Sarah Robles ending up with the gold medal there in the snatch with 126 kilos. So exciting. Hey, she's got to shut her brain off.
It's going to be Aleksandra Mierczewska of Poland. And she was in split at the Europeans. She snatched 100 kilos there in a 3-for-3 series. Is the weight on the bar.
So we got informed by...
Come back to it. Whoa.
Wasn't expecting that.
I was not expecting that power clean either. Wow.
That happened quickly. Good lift there for Mago. Mogat, excuse me.
Yeah, that was
121 kilos now.
That was great.
Kristina Mogat, Hungary.
Interesting choice. There could be a lot of different reasons why she's power cleaning.
Sure.
Mierczewska, Poland.
Usually at this level or at this point, it would be, I would imagine, coming back from something.
Right, right, or sustain some sort of injury or some plan B situation they had to switch to.
But they didn't lower her opener, so
right, and she just took an 8-kilo jump, so it kind of makes me continue to wonder here.
Yeah,
but that's all right, whatever works.
Maybe she's nervous in the clean and jerk and needed to get one in.
Could be. We've seen everything imaginable, so.
So we got word from John Bros from Average Bros Gym that the last American to win a gold medal at the World Championships was Joe Doobie in 1969. So
wow. Well, she's in good company.
Got me. She is.
Joe Doobie.
Sorry, Junior.
All right, so we are running a 2-minute clock on Mago. 128 kilos, that 8-kilo jump is still going to result in her following herself. 130 is the next highest opener.
Well, let's see if this is power clean too. I mean, the way that first one was, why not?
Yeah.
Good jerk.
Got your answer there.
Yeah.
Another power clean, good lift.
Well, you certainly reduce your chances of making an error.
Yeah.
Third and final attempt, Mogat.
It's a solid power clean too. You notice that, I don't know your feelings on this, Sean and JP, but I had a tendency to jump my feet wide receiving heavier power cleans instead of keeping my footwork the same. And I always imagined it was a bad habit.
Yes.
But, oh, okay. There's my confirmation.
Well, because you're trying to mimic the dynamic of the clean with the power clean. There's certain reasons why you would use a power clean. So you want to try to keep it as close, well, exactly the same as the clean. So you don't want it to become something different.
I could never force myself to do it.
Well, it worked out okay. So I think you're perfectly fine.
I was able to salvage career.
Yes, but to your point, every lift that isn't the snatch and clean and jerk should mimic some part of the snatch and clean and jerk, whether it's the mechanics of it or the tempo of it or the positions. So you don't want to make things different.
Agreed.
Okay, so now we have 130 kilos loaded. This will be the first attempt of Aleksandra Mierczewska of Poland.
How long has she been in weightlifting?
Mierczewska?
Yes.
2009, lifting at Polish Championships.
Okay.
First EC was 2014.
Dawaj ostro. Stola.
Chłopcze, tak, stajesz! Ustaw masowa!
Prosto zejdź i mocno wybij.
Mocno ręka!
Dobrze, spokojnie.
That's going to be trouble, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the footwork there. Just got a little rush or something.
Trouble it is, 2 red lights.
And she's a little uneven in her rack.
Yeah, you notice that yellow mark there is the center of the bar. She's a bit off center and with the grip. So that maybe that threw her off just enough.
A lot of stuff going on there.
She may go up. I mean, that still looked not heavy.
Right.
Perhaps just a little technical weird thing. You know, coach, my shoe came untied, something like that, and which would indicate to us that she was going to go up, but we'll see.
And since she's not in contention for a medal, you can take some chances, possibly.
Right.
Maybe she has an agenda as far as a personal best or something along those lines.
Well, 135, from what I can tell, is her personal best. She did that recently in a competition in Poland. In a 6-for-6 performance, she did 135, and she made that 135 on her 3rd attempt. So I think the choice looks like here, Sean, that she's going to try to get one in and then maybe go for that.
That's
which
reasonable.
Yeah, looks light, but certainly don't want to get in a position where you're missing the 2nd attempt also.
All right, so here's Mierczewska.
Dawaj wszystko w to.
Deki góra! Nie w łokcie! Bardzo ważne. Tak, stajesz! Ustaw spokojnie! Mocno z nogi łapa!
Oh, this is a punch a button. I'm not sure what's going to happen here.
Trying to sell it there.
And she did. And I guess that means it was shoulders.
The judges are already
It
standing.
took 2 seconds for the refs to call it.
Yeah, that didn't take long.
I think that all the jury members are suggesting that it was no lift, and they seem to.
Shoulders or arms? I don't know, but they wasted no time in calling the referees back, and this isn't going to be one of the lengthier deliberations. Take a look at this again.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's no question.
At least from that center judge's perspective.
The athlete's lift at 130 kilos has been turned down after discussion with the jury.
So that will be a press out call, no lift, and that means it's going to be a 2-minute clock, a do or die situation.
And you don't go up here, you got to repeat. And there's nowhere for her to go. She has to go to 135. And I'm not convinced that Liz Sath is going to open with 135.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, she's going to be, she's lifter. She's following herself, right.
Oh, 133 she can go to.
She could for a breather. And while we're waiting on this 2-minute clock, Sean, I can one-up you and Mr. Bros on behalf of Travis Cooper, who we wish was here.
Oh, Travis.
Both as a lifter and just to be here. Travis, multi-time world team member, reminded me that Robin Bird
Oh, 1994.
There you go.
1994. You're absolutely
Sorry, Robin.
Oh my goodness. Seriously? Why did, I tell people that all the time, Robin, just for the record, that you're the world champion in 1994, and I tell all my friends that I know you and love you. I have no idea why I just drew a blank, and that's my fault. I accept responsibility for that.
All right, so 130 kilos on the bar. This is the third and final attempt of Alexandra Mierczewska. She needs to make this to post a total. She just got called down or had a good lift reversed by the jury. So she's got to have this.
Ola, wszystko. Zdecydowanie, cały gaz. Dokładnie.
Świetnie, łokcie wepnij! Mocno, Ola!
Dawaj porządnie. Dawaj, dawaj. Spokojnie.
Łapka idzie! Ręka!
That was better.
I think,
should work.
I think she's got that one.
All right.
I think she's got that one. Let's make sure.
By majority decision, good lift. And I think this will hold, and as it should.
Yep.
And nice effort here to come back and make that. She will close out the day with a 232 kilo total.
Strong cleaner. So strong.
To be followed by Ayobi.
But the jerk oftentimes doesn't come down to strength, rather where you're placing the bar. And as you can see, she's a strong lady. Finally got that last attempt.
All right, so now we are back to the Hungarian third attempt. Christina Mogat of Hungary, 130 kilos this, excuse me, 133 kilos. This will be a competition best for her.
Uh-oh. She had a bit of a hitch in her pull there.
Yeah.
Not that it caused a problem with her, but it's kind of an odd
She's
mechanic.
okay.
135 kilos, please.
Did you notice?
Needed some time to breathe there after that clean.
Yeah, which happens, but kind of long on the pull.
Yeah, just really long.
And again, we saw that in her snatches, not really cranking it up and turning it on for that big, fast second
Right.
pull. All kind of looking the same speed, but no doubt that's something she works on in training.
135 kilos.
All right, so now our junior,
Speaking
Lizeth
of speed,
Iovi, has been called. 135
Oh, she's
kilos is
coming out.
loaded, and
All right.
she is on the platform.
Vamos, gana, gana ahí, vamos. Ponle gana, vamos.
Oh.
wow.
Yeah.
Great style on that.
Makes up the difference on the jerk.
Yeah,
I think she just didn't sit with the chest upright long enough. Kind of just recovered, got the hips back a little bit. Sorry, Sean, what were you going to say?
No, I just not the best clean for her.
To be followed by
It doesn't seem to bother her in the jerk. Some people, no matter what the clean looks like, they
can jerk it.
can jerk it. She might be one of those.
In fairness to Lizeth, I believe that match is her best ever, so she just opened with it, and that might help explain things,
Okay.
you know, for you a little bit, why it wasn't as, I mean, she blasted her opener.
And the timing in the back does get messed up when you have a lifter who, you know, you're set to go out at a certain time. You have a lifter who almost bombs out, and you got a couple 2-minute clocks. That kind of throws off your game. Maybe she had to take 1 or 2 extra attempts in the warm-up room she wasn't anticipating.
And we talk about different styles, different things that lifters do, and we love having you here, Cheryl, because we can pick your brain and see how you play things. How aware were you, you know, when you were at your peak kind of at World Championships, how aware were you of the gameplay and the count? And did you want to know, or did you just, when somebody pointed you and said to go?
Somewhat aware. Now, I wasn't an athlete that would cover my head with a towel and have my headphones on and completely block everything out. I wanted to be somewhat aware, but I was not trying to decide what weight I should take. I was not doing any of that. I was following my instructions, my coaches, and you got to trust them 100% because your job at a competition like this is to lift the weight, and that is it.
Okay, so now here is Lizeth Aovi. This is her second attempt. She has taken a 5-kilo jump to follow herself. Intervening while you were telling us about your process there, Cheryl, Laurel Hubbard moved up to 142. So that means Aovi has to follow herself, and it is just a 1-minute clock.
That's better.
Much better.
Beautiful.
That's it. That's it. You can tell she wanted a redo on that. She wanted to show everybody she knew how to clean and jerk, and that was powerful.
And I gotta say, I think she's got some of the best jerk technique we've seen all week.
Yep.
I concur.
And a super who's a good jerker, it has a tendency to look very nice because not only is the weight heavier, but their bodies are bigger. So there's not any shaking, there's not a lot of quivering happening. They just look, it looks quite nice when they pull it off.
And we're going to see in the next session for the men's super heavyweight, Lasha, the Georgian super heavyweight, 6'6", and have long arms, and he has beautiful technique. So, which, you know, also some supers don't have beautiful technique, but he has beautiful technique, and you can actually see it as it's happening because he's so long.
Right.
All right, so now we have Tanya Mascoro of Mexico. This is her first attempt, 142 kilos. Snatched 119 on her second attempt.
And I've done that exact thing on a first attempt, clean and jerk, and landed right on my rear end. And sometimes it's just overexcitement. The timing is off because she pulls it quite nicely. Sometimes the feet don't move, and you kind of just get a little extra on the barbell that you weren't anticipating.
Well, Mascoro has to get in this thing and do it, you know, right now. And the reason why is, I mean, she's been to 6 senior worlds. She has never had an opportunity to win a medal. She has not won a medal before at a senior world championships. Her first one was back in 2010 in Turkey. And she bombed there in the clean and jerk. And an opportunity like she has today is one that just cannot be missed. You know, 142 kilos here. If she makes this, you got to think she has a very good chance of seeing the podium in both the clean and jerk and the total.
That was better.
Okay. Maybe a little out in front, but good enough.
But good enough, yeah. She pushes it a bit away, but she's able to just kind of roll those shoulders back and pull the barbell back in place. Much better attempt.
3 white lights indeed on this second attempt effort from Mascoro. And with that, at the moment, she will be sitting on a 261 kilo total. Her fate may not be in her hands. She's out in front of a couple of others, but 260, 265-ish could hold up. So we shall see. In the meantime, Lizeth Aovi, third attempt, 143 kilos. That 140 we just saw from her is a best.
Oh. Yeah, I saw it right off the floor.
What?
The bar rolled away from her.
The setup, that dynamic start.
Or she didn't, or the bar didn't get to the right spot before she lifted off the floor. I knew as soon as she started, she was going to miss it.
Yeah.
So take a look at what.
Which I'm not a fan of. Yeah, just you can't really
It wasn't
tell
there, but it wasn't there. Keying in on that spot, I think you're right. And with that, she will be credited with 140 kilos, so she will finish with a 251 kilo total in her first ever Worlds. And I think it's safe to say that we will see Lizeth AOV again.
You know, it's a good lesson. You know, we teach not only that still in the start, but the bar doesn't move either. So you have to put the bar and you move yourself to the bar and go from there.
All right, so now we have Laurel Hubbard. This is her first attempt, 144 kilos. Silver medal in the snatch with 124.
Bit of a push forward on the jerk.
But it should be a good lift, and it is. So where are you keying in there, Cheryl?
Oh, just saying that plenty of power and everything like that, but just in the snatches we're a bit the same way, just leaving the barbell a little bit out front during the dip and the drive, just pushing it forward just slightly.
Loaders, 145 kilos.
And she's got to make that correction.
So with that 144, she will have a 268 kilo total with 2 attempts in hand. And with that, and because she was one of the medalists, we're now, I think, getting into the decision-making period of this competition. Can Chady get back into this? It's possible. She's got a 9-kilo gap to make up, though, so she may have to punch for...
What's her best clean and jerk in competition?
50. Which she's done twice.
She's going to need a little bit more than that.
Yeah. But maybe not for bronze, right?
Maybe no.
Yeah.
No, not for bronze. Boy, that was a battle at every phase.
It was.
Good for her.
Right on the cusp of being a really good clean and jerk.
Right.
Managed to just maybe relax here, a little bit of a timing issue there, so she'll have to clean that up a little bit. But again, that first attempt can be a little jittery.
To be followed by Pulsab Sukul of Thailand. 146 kilos, loaders.
Had that little stutter step in recovery, but a good lift for Chady, who, by the way, we did mention is a junior for at least a few more days.
Right.
But right now sitting on a 260 kilo total. That's 5 kilos below her best ever.
Chady now, 146 kilos.
Okay, so briefly, Pulsaba School was introduced, but not a shock. She has signed the card out. She is passing all 3 of her clean and jerks. She bombed in the snatch with 117 and has elected not to move forward from this point, so that means the door is wide open again in the clean and jerk competition for several lifters, Moscoro being one of them. If successful here, she will have a 265 kilo total and move into second overall. So this will be enough to move her behind Moscoro, behind Hubbard.
let's see, they kind of got sapped on the legs. She came up. I think she stood up with most of that weight on the front part of her feet. She's just strong enough to do that, and I think it fried her quads a little bit. She had no power with that dip.
That's a great observation. I agree.
Yeah, and you can even see briefly her heel is up.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
And in the dip of during the jerk, I mean, you really need your quads.
Yeah.
Dip and the drive. So if your quads are smoked clean, boy, you're gonna have a hard time in the jerk.
Right, right.
All right, so a 3 kilo jump here for Laurel Hubbard. 147. If successful, will give her a 271 total. Robles right now sitting on 150. She would only need 146 to stay ahead. But it's too late for that.
The shoulder strength involved in pushing forward again, and it looks like a technique thing, probably something she deals with in training and that they're continually trying to correct. Just pushing the barbell out forward, and then she's able to keep her elbows straight and kind of just push the rest of her body through again. So the arms stay straight, and she's just pulling that barbell back. That just takes incredible strength. And
it's forward, yeah.
Technically, still, as long as those elbows stay straight, it's a good lift.
And that was a 2-to-1 call, so the ref, I think on the right, saw something he didn't like, but ultimately the lift will pass. So that's going to be, for now, a 271 kilo total for Hubbard. And now we have a 3 kilo increase for Chaidi of Thailand. This is her second attempt, 148 kilos.
Nice.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Love it. Love it. What a nice jerk. Nice clean, too.
Yeah.
Good lift. Chaidi, 148
That was great.
kilos.
Well, that will move her into the lead in the clean and jerk. Overall, second for now.
She looked a lot more confident on that second attempt. That first one, just a little bit of hesitation with all the movements. This one, not so much.
I mean, that's practically textbook right there. My favorite things this week is the, for lack of a better term, the banter that the coaches are screaming at the athletes in different languages. It's really, it fires me up, and I don't know what they're saying, but just the tonality of it, and it just every time it gets me going. And I especially love, as we saw this with the Koreans this week, especially the lifter would say something, and then the people in the crowd would respond. And,
yeah, there's an interaction there. Yeah,
I don't know, man. It just fires me up.
Well, speaking of fired up, you might be a little more fired up in a few moments, because we now have the first attempt of Sarah Robles, 150 kilos.
Now I'm bouncing my knee. I'm shifting around in my chair. I'm just chomping at the bit here. I think this is a good move, 150 kilos.
And this is probably the ball game.
This will give her a 276.
I don't see anybody catching her.
She did 275 in July en route to win the Pan Ams.
Strong, Sarah, strong off the floor. Let's go. Heels down.
There you go.
You just can't say enough about what Sarah Robles has been doing.
Easy. Somebody put some weight on the bar, please.
And with that opener, she is opening up a pretty secure lead here, now sitting at 276. And take a look at this attempt.
Egypt, first attempt. To be followed by
and you have to go back to the Olympic trials in 2016 to find a lift where she has missed in competition. She's been at the American Open, she's been at Nationals, she's been at the Pan Ams, she has been 6 for 6 in each of those competitions. She is 4 for 4 here.
Kudos to her coach, Tim Swords, for making good calls in competition.
All right, so now we have Haridi of Egypt on the bar. First attempt, 150.
الله ايوه 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 ادفع جامد
Beautiful.
Oh, that looks pretty nice too.
Man.
We're gonna have these ladies chasing each other for this gold medal in the clean and jerk. Sarah effectively, I believe you guys are right, she effectively became the world champion here, barring anything too crazy, but this clean and jerk medal might be interesting.
It will, and you know, you see Haridi here in the manner in which she just overpowers 150, and you think, boy, if she would have hit 120 on her second or third in the snatch, this would have been a completely different competition.
And Sarah made all 3 of her snatches here, and that's why she's sitting pretty in this position.
Yeah.
All these misses in that last snatch cost all these ladies dearly.
All right, so now Laurel Hubbard has moved up to 151. If successful, this will move her into second in the total. So she is ceding the position to Sarah Robles. She's not going to go after the 276, going to try to stay within her ability. And this will give her a 275. She would have needed 53 to move ahead of Robles.
Hello. Let's go.
up
Come on, straight.
Wow, that was better.
Best of the 3.
That was better, yes. Yes, I agree.
Good lift.
It's a good comeback.
151 kilos.
I mean, it's really hard to have technical errors in the first and second attempt that get better when you add weight to the barbell, and she did it
Third and
nicely.
final attempt. Loaders, another kilo, please. 152 now.
So with this 151 kilo clean and jerk, Laurel Hubbard will have a 275 total. Not guaranteed, I think, a medal in total. Or the clean and jerk, we still have 3 lifters left. So this will get interesting. And right now, Cheney has a lot of ground to make up here. If successful with this 152, this will move her into third and will effectively bounce Haridi for the moment off the podium.
She had a little struggle in that clean, our second attempt. See if she can clean that up.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Excellent job.
Great job of stabilizing. Wanted to go right just a little bit, but she held on. And that is a 3 for 3.
You can tell that she's young because she isn't fully formed yet. Like, she's still wobbly a little bit. She's like a brand new horse coming at you, kind of not knowing their legs. And you know, she'll respond well to a lot of bodybuilding type pressing and things to kind of get the joints stronger and the muscles stronger. I'm excited to see her development over the years.
So that will be a 267 kilo total, 4 for 6 performance, 3 for 3 in the clean and jerk, always a pleasant thing to see. And now here is
athletes remaining. 4
Haridi,
attempts in total.
second attempt, 153.
She's given no indication that she's not going to smoke this.
Conservative jump would guarantee a medal.
Well, that's why the jump.
Yes.
And now in the last one, you can kind of play a little
Take
bit.
a big swing. So if successful here, Haridi will guarantee at least a bronze in both the total and the clean and jerk.
ولا حاجة يا بطل. ايوه ايوه هي عاش. اوعي سوي. رجلي قوي.
It's interesting, that clean.
This should be good. I don't think they will call her for a dirty clean. And it's a good lift. And what we say by dirty clean, a double clean. Where the bar is on the shoulder when the elbows come around is where it's supposed to stay. And watch when she gets underneath this bar, you'll see that it hikes just a little bit up from the position where she catches it from. Right there.
Yeah.
That's not enough to turn the lift down, I don't think.
Well, apparently not.
Yeah,
She struggled a little bit more on this than I thought she would.
Yeah, I mean, what was the opener? 150. 150 was a toy.
Yeah.
All right, so now here is Sarah Robles, 154 kilos. If successful, we'll give her 280.
Come on. Aggressive. Strong push. Let's go. Come on, down on the heels and let's finish it. Squeeze.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Good job. Very
Great
excellent.
lift.
I think she is just shining the medal on a a triple gold.
That's great.
I expect her to make whatever else they put on the bar today. She's looked amazing. And that's
right.
exception.
We're down to our final 2 attempts of this thing, and the question is will Cheryl take a crack at the American record
Well,
and a personal
that'll
best?
be fun to watch.
Because that's really all there is to do
Right.
Right.
at this point.
I think maybe that's what Tim and she are having a chat about right now. But the burden is on the Egyptian now.
Who must get to 276. So what the call I think you'll see is enough to get her there. She's currently, Haridi that is currently silver in the clean and jerk. She's bronze overall. If she wants to color up and get ahead of Laurel Hubbard, she'll need to make,
Third and final attempt.
she's not going to go for it.
To be followed by Robles.
She would have needed 161. So she's not going to go for that.
Yeah.
She's going to take a 4-kilo jump. And Sean, you're nodding your head.
Yeah, I think it's the right call, because especially the way that last one looked, I'm not quite sure she would have made 161.
Yeah, I agree.
بطل ادي التقديم. يا رب. كتف من تحت قوي. ما تضيعيش تعبك. تقدري. ايوه هي. اوعي برجليا يا شباب. برجليا. ايه.
Oh. Good.
Sort of hinted that on that second attempt.
Just a little bit, man.
No lift for
And that
Harry
gives
at
Sarah
157 kilos.
It's over.
Some room to literally do whatever she wants to right now. And that makes me a little bit nervous, I gotta tell you. Because she looks incredibly strong.
The American record clean and jerk is 161 kilos. The American record total is 287 kilos. So
Sarah Robles.
she is going to let it live on another day. So it looks like Sarah's going to come out at 158 if she makes it. It will give her a 283 kilo total and cap off another 6-for-6 performance. But before she takes this,
Come on, finish it. Let's go.
Would this be a PR for her?
I don't think so.
don't think so.
Get up. Come on, drive it.
And there she has it.
6-for-6 again, and there is your 2017 super heavyweight world champion, Sarah Robles.
Amazing job.
Our medal ceremony for the 90-plus kilo women just moments away.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Some of the best clean and jerks, period,
Yeah.
I've seen her do. So she's been making a lot of progress on her technique. And I have to say, I couldn't be any more proud. This is my weight class. I still feel like this is my weight class. But Sarah just did me so proud.
It may be your weight class, or you may feel her, but this is Sarah Robles.
Oh, yeah,
day.
she took it home.
And she earned it.
She took it home. And I can't, like I said, I can't be any more proud. She did an incredible job.
There's your silver medalist, Laurel Hubbard. 3-for-3 in the clean and jerk.
And gentlemen, I'm actually going to have to depart here. I'm going to help hand out these
Awards?
these medals, these
Well,
awards.
it must be nice to be a celebrity.
Yo, it's good to be wanted, Sean. It's nice to be wanted.
There's our bronze medalist.
We're going to say goodbye.
All right. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this, guys. And yeah, some more supers to come later.
Yes.
Taking another look at Sarah, hugging everybody in the warm-up room, and why not?
What a great day for her.
You know, and she's just developed the ability to make her competition lifts.
Yeah.
And take a look at
and
this.
in the past, you know, she had some
Take a look at this
issues.
again.
I mean, it's just good as you can get.
All right, so let's take a look at our final results here in the women's plus 90 category. Three lifters went 3-for-3. That's always fun to see. Sarah did do 160, Sean, at the Olympics.
So they had a game plan in mind and stuck to it.
Win.
That's a good one. That's a
Win
good
and
game
then-
plan.
Win and then take what you think you can make.
That's right. I approve of that game plan.